Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today for this yin practice. Zoe has decided that a lap has made itself available to her. So today's practice, you may want to have a couple blocks. You might like a blanket set out on your mat for extra coziness, whatever feels comfortable to you. If you have other props you like to use for your yin practice, maybe having a bolster nearby or an extra blanket, feel free to have those handy as well. And if you're on a hard surface, you'll definitely probably want to have at least one blanket on your mat. And today we're going to be focusing into the spine, the hips, the upper back, and the legs a little bit. So this is just about a half-hour practice. So always listen to your body, find variations as you need to. Also make sure to have some water handy. It's very important to drink water after a yin practice as well as other myofascial release. So let's get started. So let's find a comfortable seat. You might want to sit on a blanket, maybe another prop so your hips are up a little bit higher. And hands and arms wherever they're comfortable to you. You might close your eyes and just start to tune in. Yin is a great opportunity to go yinward, as we like to say. Notice how your body feels. And invite your lower legs and feet and hips to relax and release into the support beneath you. Soften your shoulders away from your ears and let your arms and hands be soft and relaxed wherever they feel comfortable to you. Notice sensation in your body. Notice your breath. And when you feel ready, gently open your eyes. And let's transition into a table pose. Set aside anything you don't need. Hands and knees. And just begin to flow through a few cat-cows here. Warming up your spine. Inhale into your cow and exhale cat. Notice how this feels. And then maybe some side to side movement, whatever feels good to you. You might move your hips to one side and then the other. Whatever your body needs. And then widen your knees. You might start with your toes touching and then separate them slightly to come into tadpole, sort of a wide child's pose. You may want your blocks handy. Lots of variations for this one. One option is to have the blocks about shoulder distance apart. Bring your elbows onto the blocks, hands in a prayer position towards the upper back, forehead to the mat. This is great for opening into the shoulders as well as the hips. Or, instead of using both blocks, you might just bring your hands forward and get a nice stretch into the upper back and shoulders this way. Head supported. You can also just rest your forehead on a block with your arms bent, forearms on the mat or blankets. So find whatever variation feels best to you. Keeping your knees and hips in pretty much the same position. Feel free to mix it up a little bit with the position of the upper back and shoulders. And just breathe here. Soften your shoulders. Soften your belly. And let your hips be heavy, sinking towards the space between your heels, or towards your heels if your feet are closer together. Tuning in to your breath and any sensation you notice. And you might switch out the position of your shoulders or arms. Make sure your head is supported. And we'll be here for a few more breaths. Soften into the upper back and shoulders with each exhale. Invite a little bit deeper release. You might take a soft sigh of an exhale. And then on your next inhale, come back up into table pose. And you might find a down dog or a modified down dog here, sometimes called traditional mountain. Knees might be bent. This is just an option. It can feel really nice into the upper back and shoulders, or you might do a puppy pose, staying on your knees. And then lower the knees down if you were in that variation. Come to a seat and come into a few windshield wipers. Feet wide, dropping your knees to one side and then the other. And then pause in a seat. Notice sensation. And then straighten your right leg out, or whichever leg you want to start with. You might have your blocks handy, placing them in front of you. And to start, turn towards the straight leg. Make sure your bent knee is comfortable. If it complains, feel free to put a prop under it like a blanket. Turning your heart in that direction and slowly hinging from your hips, keeping a long spine. Reaching your heart in the direction of your toes rather than rounding the back. One option might be to use those blocks like little arm rests, or you could put your elbows on them and support your head with your thumbs. Breathe here. You might choose to go a little deeper if that feels appropriate. You might reposition the blocks a little lower. Keep the legs relaxed. So in Yin, we relax the muscles a little more than in a typical Yang practice. On your inhale, come back up. And now we're going to go forward. So this is a half butterfly, half straddle. You might position that bent knee's foot slightly away from your hips as you come forward. You might stay on your hands. Or again, you might position the blocks for a little support. Just make sure that bent leg's knee is happy. Find your variation and breathe here. Another breath here. And maybe a soft sigh of an exhale. Let it go. And then come back up and we'll go to the side. You can use props here for the lower arm or just be on your hand, whatever feels good. So in this side bend, just make sure you feel supported with the bottom hand or arm. And we'll be here for just a little while. Notice how this feels. You might bend the top arm and position the hand to support your head. That can feel nice, really deepening into that upper side body stretch, into the shoulders and side body as you support the head. And again, that's just an option to bend that arm in that way. Sometimes it's a little deeper. And then inhale, make your way all the way back up. And lower the arms, pause. And then we'll do the other side. So straighten your other leg out, bend your opposite leg, bringing the foot where it feels comfortable and the knee happy. You might place a blanket under that bent knee. Turning towards that straight leg, take an inhale. Lengthen through your spine. And then coming forward, hands either on either side of that leg or use your blocks, and position that bent knee's foot wherever it feels comfortable to you. Lengthen through your spine, doing your best to keep your spine long rather than rounded. Do your best to relax the legs. And maybe position blocks like little arm rests. If you're not supporting the head, just keep your neck long. Observe sensation. Do your best to be aware of sensation without resistance or labeling or complaining. And then slowly come back up. Position that bent knee's foot right in front of you, turning to face in between your thighs and coming forward for the second part. Again, you can be on your hands for support or use blocks like armrests. Find what feels good to you, but make sure you don't come further forward than it feels appropriate. Relax your legs and breathe here. This half butterfly gets into a lot of areas of the body. The hips, the legs, the spine. Notice what you're feeling. And let the breath be soft and easy. A few more breaths here. Maybe a soft sigh of an exhale on your next exhale. And then slowly on your next inhale, bring yourself back upright. Set your blocks aside and we'll do the side bend. Lift your other arm up, side bending over that straight leg. Again, maybe that top arm reaches up. Arm bending to support your head or whatever feels best for your shoulder. Notice how this feels. Might feel different than the other side. Use that bottom hand for support. Breathe here. And then on your next inhale, come back up. Lower the hands and arms. Bring your knees up, feet together initially, and then widen your feet and come into a few windshield wipers. Our counter pose. Notice how that feels. And then transition into table pose initially. And then make your way all the way onto your belly for Sphinx pose. Come onto the belly, elbows a little further forward and a little wider than a traditional Sphinx. Position the block either at the tall or medium setting, angle it to support your forehead, and hold the block with your hands at an angle so it feels comfortable to you. Relax your legs and feet. Relax the hips. Relax your belly. And there's a little support of the arms here. Head is supported, but soften your shoulders. And breathe here. This Yin Sphinx is great for the kidney meridians, getting into the low back. It's great for the spine. And then on your next inhale, just an option to set the block aside. Widen your hands a little bit and press into your hands to straighten the arms to come into seal. If this is too much, inch your hands further forward. If you want more, inch your hands slightly back. Option to look over one shoulder and then the other. If this is too much, just lower the forearms back down. We'll be here for just a few more breaths. Another breath here. And exhale, maybe a soft sigh. Let it go as you lower back down. Elbows wide, hands on top of each other. Rest your forehead on your hands. Or turn your head one direction and draw that same knee up towards the nearest elbow. And relax here. This is a great counter pose after Sphinx and Seal. And if that one leg is bent, straighten it back up. Lift your head, bring your hands under your shoulders, and on an inhale, press your way back up into table. And then from here, take an inhale with the left arm up and thread the needle, bringing that left arm underneath the right. Come onto the left side of your head. Breathe here. If the floor seems too far away, you might place a blanket under your head. or a block. Make sure it feels okay to you. This is a great stretch for the shoulders and upper back. And then when you're ready, position that right hand near your head. And on an inhale, press back up into table. Pause for a moment. And then other side. Inhale the right arm up and thread the needle on this side. Come onto your right shoulder, right side of your head. Position that left hand and arm wherever it makes sense to you. This is a great stretch for the upper back and shoulders, and it might feel different on this side. Notice what you're feeling. Take a few more breaths here. And then press into that left hand. On an inhale, bring yourself back up into table. And then come to a seat. Pause. Notice sensation. And then position yourself to lay down on your mat. Bend one knee, drawing that knee towards your chest. You might want to draw the right knee in towards your chest. Hold it with your left hand. And then roll over to your left hip for an alligator twist. Holding your right knee with your left hand, you might position a block to support that lower right leg. Relax into this position. It's okay if the right shoulder comes up a little bit, but try to keep most of your upper back on the mat. This is great for the spine. And then inhale your head back to neutral. Bring that knee back up. Press into your feet to lift the hips, realign your spine if you need to, and then draw your left knee towards your chest. You might move the ankles a little bit if that feels good. Forgot to do that on the other side. Hold that left knee with your right hand. Take it over to your right, rolling towards your right hip. And a soft gaze over towards your left. Alligator twist on this side. Again, you might use a prop under that lower left leg, or you could just let the left foot be near the right thigh, or it could just sort of hang, supporting it with your right hand. Find your variation and relax here. And then inhale the head back to neutral. Bring that left knee back, bend both knees, press into your feet, lengthen through your spine. And then draw your knees in towards each armpit. Maybe rotate the ankles a little bit. Holding your knees with your hands, drawing the knees towards your shoulders. And then when you're ready, release. The legs out long and come into your Shavasana. You might position a blanket over your hips. You might widen your legs, widen your arms. And invite your whole body to soften and release. Relax your feet and your ankles. Soften and relax your legs. Notice your hips and any sensation or energy there. Invite your hips to relax and release. Notice your spine and visualize space between each vertebrae. Relax your shoulders and arms. Soften your hands and fingers. Notice the palms of your hands and any sensation or energy there. Soften your belly and soften the area around your heart. Let your head be heavy. Soften and relax your jaw. Relax all the muscles in your face, especially around your eyes, and let go. Gently bring your awareness back to being on your mat. Notice your body, notice your breath, and observe your mind. Whenever you feel ready, begin to make small movements, wiggling fingers, toes, rotate your wrists or ankles, whatever would feel good. If you have any blankets on top of you, you can set them aside and bend one knee and then the other, maybe drawing your knees towards your chest. And any movement that feels good to you. And then transition over to your left side or whatever side feels good to you. Support your head with your bottom arm. And when you feel ready, slowly press your way back up to a comfortable seat. Pause, notice sensation. Notice how you feel. And then with appreciation for your focus and awareness, bring your hands to your heart in Anjali Mudra. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today for this yin practice. Feel free to check out some of the other videos and be sure you drink your water. Very important. And I'll see you next time on the mats.